Good morning, everyone. I'm Colby Dezelick, and welcome to another episode of Music Diary. I'm loving doing these things, and once again, I have to say I'm loving your comments and suggestions down underneath the videos. Really excited to start finding a shape to this and start seeing what you guys kind of want out of this and what I can bring to it. But really, really excited, and stay tuned for more on that after this episode. But yeah, so for today's episode, I thought I would do a little something a little different. I've been playing a lot of music lately, and today I want to start branching out and trying some of the different types of things that we can do with Music Diary. And so today I thought, we've got 2 shows for Saigon. I'm going to do it anyway. I thought I'd talk about how I warm up and some of my tips and tricks for warming up for being a singer. So if you're not interested in that, just tune in for tomorrow for probably another song. Otherwise, let's get into it. So warming up is something that's super, super important as any sort of athlete or performer, and certainly for singers, which is what we're going to focus on today. So we hear about it a lot, and we know some of the things maybe, or maybe we don't, about how to warm up. But first I want to talk about why we warm up and why it's so, so important, and why some people don't do it, but it's super dangerous if you don't, and super important to know how to warm yourself up and take charge of that so you can know your instrument really well and have complete control over it. So why we warm up. I mentioned that athletes warm up, right? So any sort of performer, even dancer or any other thing like that, if you're working with your body, everyone kind of knows it's super important to warm up, right? You start at a very kind of low level. Your body's just kind of in a neutral state, and you want your body to be up here to perform at a high level, whether it's a sport or dancing or any sort of thing. You want to be able to jump real high and kick real high and all these different things, and your body doesn't wake up being able to do that, right? It wakes up sleepy and groggy and in a maybe less than neutral state, right? So we warm up, we get the blood flowing in our body, we stretch our muscles and ligaments and joints and make sure that they're all ready, and then eventually start testing those things out to make sure that when we get on the field or we get on the stage or wherever we are, that we can do these things at our highest level of performance, right? And then the same thing afterwards. When we finish, our thing, we probably want to cool down so that our body doesn't waver at this weird high performance state for the rest of the day, because we want to come back down into our neutral state for society and sleep. So it's so obvious with any sort of movement, but sometimes it gets pushed to the side when it comes to something more nuanced, such as singing. But it's the exact same thing. We start at a neutral state, and again, when we wake up, probably less. I've been up for maybe a couple hours now, but you can still hear my voice is maybe a little bit lower than it normally is, and this is why your voice is so low in the morning, right? Because it hasn't been working, and it's at a very low state of performance, right? And so I'm about to go do 2 shows of Saigon, and if in that show, we sing crazy stuff, and if you're doing the same thing and you want to be able to sing up here, you don't just wake up being able to do that, right? So we have to warm up. We have to fill the gap between where we start and where we want to be, and we have the process in between is warming up. So it's super important to warm up. So today I thought I would talk about some of the ways that I warm up and some of the kind of main sections of warming up that I put myself through before singing. So to start with, I like to just take it easy, and normally I'll just start with kind of humming, right? So right, just kind of in the middle of my voice, right? Just kind of waking it up, nothing pushing, anything like that. We just want to start getting the blood flowing. That's like taking a lap around the track, right? Then we'll probably move on to some ahs and different vowels. Ah, 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 e, oh, oh, right, and just doing simple things like that, right, in the chunk meat of your voice, right? That's how you sound. just to get the blood flowing. And different vowels are good because you start to feel the different shapes in your mouth and how it's going to affect everything you're doing. Right, so this is just getting the blood flowing. Just start, and certainly if you've just woken up, if you have to sing early in the morning, getting yourself out of that groggy low state, and just kind of waking your voice up. So we just want to vocalize like that, just to kind of tell our voice, okay, we're about to do some stuff. Then after that, something that I really like to do are stretches. And there's a lot of different kind of different pieces of structure and things going on, different apparati, right? I don't know. Going on up here, we have the tongue and the jaw and face muscles go into it, and our neck muscles and our larynx and our lungs and our back. And all of this stuff is super interconnected and has a huge impact on the sound that we make, right? So we want to be very conscious of that and make sure that all of those things are awake and ready to play and not going to inhibit us, right? So I'll go through some of the different types of stretches I like to do. Some of my favorite ones are tongue stretches, right? And one of the best ones I think is just to drop your jaw and stick your tongue out. And then sing. Right? In the same kind of section of that voice, of the middle section of the voice. When you do this, if you've never done it before, you'll find that your tongue is going to kind of like freak out. The tongue is one of the strongest muscles in the body. And when we sing a lot of times, or when we talk throughout the day, the tongue can get very tense, and certainly in the back section of the tongue, it can get very, very tight. And that inhibits us from being able to sing really well, being able to just let air flow through, or being able to kind of soar through lines and all this different stuff that we want to do when we're singing. And so tongue tension was something that I dealt with a lot, and so I worked on a lot, and why I probably love tongue stretches so much. But it's super important. So you'll notice, though, that if you're doing this for the first time, look in a mirror and stick your tongue out and sing. And my tongue still does it, but it'll start to kind of freak out. And what that is that's the kind of central nervous system of the tongue not being able to do what it normally does, right? When we put the tongue in that position, it can't tense up when we sing. So if the tongue is used to being tensed up when we sing, it's going, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And it's really, really good for you, because you start retraining this whole apparatus to say, okay, no, everyone relax. We're going to sing, and it's going to be easy, and it's going to be fun, right? Yeah, that goes with all of these different things. The tongue is just a really, really good example. So tongue stretches, you can also just hum with it and put the tongue up here, your top lip, bottom lip, left and right cheeks, right? And just right? And these are just different positions to do the same thing of inhibiting your tongue so that it can't get in the way of your singing. So tongue stretches, super, super important, right? Another great place to stretch and actually massage is your jaw, right? So your jaw can have a lot of tension. And again, super interconnected to everything that's going on with singing. So you want to, if while you're singing, you can, or while you're not singing, if you just kind of massage your jaw here, you've probably seen this if you've ever taken a vocal lesson or like an acting class or whatever, they talk about this a lot with speech for actors, and just massaging this area, because it can get super, super tight, and just kind of, a lot of times they say take the heel. That's not my favorite position. I like to get my fingers in there. But you can do that and run it down. I've also got headphones on, so it's a little tricky. But do that, and then just start vocalizing. Right? And it doesn't matter what it sounds like. You heard I just cracked, and like I didn't even flinch, right? I have my voice teacher in college, Marianne Cook, if she's watching. What's up, Marianne? I hope you're enjoying my warm-up lesson. I hope I'm doing you justice. Is when we would start singing or just warming up or anything like that, she would never say, let's sing. She would say, let's make noise. Let's make sounds, right? We're not in the field of sounding pretty. Certainly in musical theater, a lot of the sounds are like and like crazy musical theater sounds like that. We're not trying to sound pretty, and certainly when we're warming up, we don't want to be thinking about that. We just want to be making noise and getting the instrument moving, right? So when you're doing that kind of stuff, you're going to be putting your body in weird positions like this or whatever. Don't care about how you sound. Right? Just get the sound out and get it moving and keep it easy and start training your body that this, like, less tension is what we want, right? That's a big thing for stretching. One more thing for stretching, this is, I think, one of the most important things, all these therapeutic kind of things that you can do for your body, is this whole torso area up here. A lot of people look past it when they are warming up because they want to do all the stuff up here and sing different like lines and whatnot. But like this whole area is so important. Your lungs are, one, massive and take up like so much of your back and your chest and all of this area. And that's how you breathe, right? And then same with down here, your diaphragm and your lower back. Your diaphragm, the way it works is it's this dome, and as you breathe, it creates a vacuum and it creates space for the lungs, right? And it has to stretch out. It's this dome shape. And when it stretches out, it needs room to go. And if this area isn't stretched and flexible, you're not going to be able to have as much breath support. You're not going to be able to have, you're not going to be able to have as much breath support, right? So you want to make sure that that area is super stretched out. So one thing you can do is actually just stretch, like touch your toes, stretch out your back, get all of that area moving, massage your shoulders. That's a really, really good one. A lot of tension up in these trapezius muscles up here. Another one I like to do is kind of stand, and my voice teacher in high school taught me this one, and I'll try and back up without the mic. You see it. But you're just going to take your arms from side to side like this and breathe in really, really deep. And you'll feel that the kind of motion up here, you're going to stretch out your lats and your scapula and all these different things, and go from here and then take it up, and just taking your arms up like this and over your head and breathing really, really low as you can, like into your butt, right? You're going to find that you're going to stretch out that area. I would even get lightheaded doing this just because I'm like, whoa, like really getting the circulation flowing into all these places that had never been there before. I actually, in one of my voice lessons with Jim in when I was in, I guess, high school, yeah, I was doing some of these different things and we were like working on different areas, passed out. Just because the circulation, all this blood started flowing, blood wasn't getting to my head, and I just passed out. And he always jokes about it with me now. But I mean, it's definitely a thing. We aren't normally stretching out all these areas and getting all the blood flow, and so it's super, super important to do that. Stretching. That was kind of a weird tangent. Anyway, yeah. So we want to stretch. We want to first start vocalizing, then we want to stretch tongue, jaw, this whole area, anything else. You just even massaging your face, just getting anything around this area kind of loose and ready to flow, right? We're already halfway there. And then finally, the kind of last little section of this is going to be range, right? So now that we've kind of, the entire time we've been working in the middle of our voice, whatever that might be. For me, it's, this section of the piano. If you're a girl, it's probably going to be higher. And if you're a bass, lower. And, range, right? Which is kind of a set of notes between and all of the notes in between on the piano or in your voice or wherever. But now what we want to do is start stretching that out, because that's kind of what we really need warming up for, is to be able to hit the lower notes and be able to hit the higher notes, because our voice sits in this middle range, right, that we've just been singing in, right? I'm talking in this kind of range, right? So now what we want to do is try and stretch out our range, just talking in circles. So I like to start down lower, right? And so my lowest note is around like an A or G, somewhere around this area, depending on the day. With Saigon, it's kind of gone by the wayside, singing in the stratosphere every day. But I like to sing on an E because it keeps it nice and forward and light. I'll just say, or I'll start a little higher. E, we'll go down. E, You hear my voice is much lower in the morning right now, going not an A today, or at this moment. So I like to do that, and you'll hear just keep it nice and light. A lot of times you'll hear full sounds, you know, but that's a stylistic thing. And for warming up, you want to just try and keep it a little lighter and easier. And as you start to warm up, start to fill out those spaces. If you're getting ready to sing Rodgers and Hammerstein, start to fill out that sound a little bit more, right? Yeah, just do that. Keep it nice and easy. Range, right? So I like to use that progression when I'm working on my lower register. And then when we go to the upper register, I like to use arpeggios, which is essentially just rounding out a triad for you, right? So that's essentially what it sounds. You're just hitting all the chords in the triad. And it's a great way to kind of like start in an area where your voice is comfortable and take that up into it, into the higher notes. And so one of the things you want to do with this is prepare for the higher notes so that you're ready and you're not taken aback when they happen. So you want to be ready to sing high. So I'll sing. Normally I sing oh ah oh, right? Oh ah, or oh ah, oh ah, oh ah, oh ah. You see that? Cracked right there, right? Still just warming up, getting everything going. Let's try that one more time. Cracking is just the tongue going crazy, right? So we'll just a little more breath support. Try that one more time. Oh, ah. Great. See? Now we know. Okay, the F sharp is starting to get there, right? And just keep going up and, you know, until wherever you're trying to sing to, right? For Saigon, I have to warm up pretty high because of the craziness. Yeah, and so those, after that, we've kind of geared up and we're kind of ready to go. And then after that, normally sometimes if you want, like, sing a song to warm up, something like in the style of what you're going to be singing, or just whatever to sing for fun. But yeah, those are kind of my tips and tricks for warming up. To review, just start easy, vocalize, start getting the blood flowing, right? Stretch out all these different areas, super therapeutic, super good and healthy for you to help with longevity in your performance and being able to sing for 2 hours and not like just the first 15 minutes. And then range, make sure that you've stretched out and you've sung your lowest notes and you've sung your highest notes that you need to get to that day or further, right? Yeah, this has really kind of turned into a longer video. But I hope you enjoyed. This is something very different. I've never really kind of sat down and talked about anything like this. I hope you enjoy. And we'll get back to more Music Diary stuff tomorrow. I said at the beginning of the video for more updates. I think what I want to do, I'd mentioned a fan song of the week, right? I want to try that. So start, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to try it out with kind of this video. Leave a comment below for an idea for a song I'd write, just like a challenge song. Like write a song only about beavers, or I don't know. Write a song, you know, with the color orange in mind. I don't know. I'm just looking around and I saw just some different ideas. Leave a comment about that or about something you found super, super helpful from this warm-up video today. I would love to hear your feedback. If you like these kind of longer, in-depth videos, we can do lots more of them. Or if you're like, shut up and sing something. And we'll go from there. So leave a comment about a challenge song, or if that doesn't make sense, I'll try and clarify it in the comments. And then we'll vote on it on like Instagram or something like that. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, warm up before you sing, and we'll see you next time on Music Diary. Take care. That's a 20-minute video. Are you going to come back?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay, I'll just wait. Do, 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 do.